Hello and welcome to Styling Studio. Today I'm going to be talking about kitchen updates, and I'm going to give you some pro tips that are going to help you if you are getting ready to start a kitchen remodel or refresh, or if it's something that you're thinking about doing in the future. This is just all really good information to know. You probably want to take some notes because this is not information that you are going to be able to Google and find all in one place. So what I'm going to give you is information based on my experiences. I have done several kitchen refreshes over the years, probably about 4 or 5. Some of them have been larger scale projects, some of them just a few minor changes. But I have learned that there is a process to follow, and that there are things you need to do to prepare for that. And then there is an order in which you need to do those things and make those selections. So that is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. And I am going to just make sure everything is broadcasting here. All right. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about is what are the things that you need to make note of before you even start considering what you want to do with your kitchen. So kitchen renovations range anywhere from small scale to complete guts and redos. And a lot of people fall in the middle somewhere between, where they want a completely new look, but they don't want the huge expense of getting their kitchen and starting over. And you can totally do that without gutting your kitchen. You can make it fabulous because, of course, kitchen cabinetry painting is very popular. That will change the entire look of your space without spending money on new cabinetry. So that is something that people are taking more and more advantage of just in recent years. So here's the first thing that you need to be mindful of and that you need to prepare yourself for and note down before you start thinking about what color kitchen do I want and what style do I want. And this is the number one thing that most people overlook when they decide that they want to refresh their kitchen. Because a lot of people, what they will do if they say, I want to refresh my kitchen, they will find these, lovely pictures or have these visions in their head about this beautiful kitchen that they want. And let's say it's like an all-white kitchen that they want. And they do not consider the other rooms in their home. They do not consider the adjoining rooms that you can see from the kitchen. And you could pop the most beautiful kitchen into a home and it not be fabulous. You can spend all the money and the kitchen standalone could be beautiful, but when you pop it into your home, it's not so great because it stands out, because it doesn't coordinate well with your style of your home. It doesn't coordinate well with the other colors and the finishes of the other rooms in your home or the existing finishes in the kitchen itself. A lot of people say, well, I want white cabinets because that's very popular right now. But white cabinets may not be for your kitchen, depending on the things that you are leaving in your kitchen that are existing, like your existing flooring, your existing paint color, your existing tile, all of that, your existing countertops, all that plays in to what color kitchen cabinets can you really have that's really going to look great. So a lot of people completely skip this step of preparing and looking at what you already have and what you're not changing and noting that down so that you can coordinate that and really see what your options really are for your new finishes. So what you need to do is you need to jot down, look around your kitchen space and note down anything that is not going to be changing. So if you're not changing out your floors, write that down. If you're not changing out your cabinetry color or your cabinets, write that down. If you're keeping your existing backsplash, write that down. If you are keeping your existing wall color, write that down. Are you keeping your existing appliances, and what color are those? Write that down. Are you keeping your existing cabinetry pools? Write that down. Are you keeping your existing lighting in your kitchen? You want to write that down. You want to write down all that you are keeping in your kitchen. Everything that's staying put, you want to write down. I would split the page in half, and I would write down on the first column, what are all the things that are staying in the kitchen as is, okay? And then on the next column of your paper, you're going to write down, what are the things that I want to change? Because you really need to be clear in your mind what's staying and what's changing. So when you're writing down all the things that you need that you're going to change in your kitchen, maybe that is your cabinets. Maybe it's just your cabinetry color. Maybe it is your cabinetry pools. Maybe it is your lighting in your kitchen if you want to change that out. Maybe it's your tile that you want to change out. If you are changing out your tile, you are also going to have grout decisions to make. So write that down as a separate item, because tile does not come pre-made with grout. You have to choose that. And a lot of people don't think about, what color grout am I going to choose? Because that becomes a stressor and another decision that you have to make. And then also, are you changing your countertops? So I know this really sounds really simple, but you would be surprised at how many start a renovation and they don't really think about what's staying and what's going. And really, like, looking at the list of what's, you've got what's staying, but looking at the list of what decisions you're going to need to be making is good to do ahead of time, because you're thinking, oh, this is going to be good, I'm only changing a few things. But then when you start making a list and looking at the list of all the decisions that you need to make, then it can become overwhelming. And if you have not made your list of the decisions that you need to make about your selections, then you are going to randomly make these decisions in no particular order. And you are going to end up with the last few choices to make, pulling your hair out, because you have no options that you like, because you have put yourself in a corner. And nobody wants to be put in the corner, right? So you want to, from your list that you have made of things that you are going to be changing out in your kitchen, all of those represent a decision that you have to make, right down to your grout. Really right down to your sink too. If you're getting new countertops, you have to make a decision on your sink. You have to make a decision on what color sink. Is it going to be stainless steel? Is it going to be another product? What color is it going to be? Your fixtures in your kitchen, like your faucets, you're going to need to make a decision on that. Are you using the existing faucets? Are you changing those out? Write that down. That is a decision that has to be made. Let's see. I think I've gone through all the decisions that maybe you could have to make with a kitchen redo. So once you have all those written down, all those decisions that need to be made, then what you need to do is you need to order those decisions. Like, what do I need to decide on first and what's going to come last? So here's what I advise my clients to do when I'm working with them. First of all, we look at what's staying, like what in the kitchen is staying and what kind of style is that. Because if you're keeping your cabinets or your flooring or your backsplash or whatever that is, all those are a particular style and a particular color, like cool colors, warm colors, modern farmhousey style. Maybe it's a traditional style. So every finish that is already selected in your kitchen that you're keeping has a style to it. So we look and see what are you keeping, what's sort of the style, and what can I envision my kitchen looking like in light of the things that are staying. So you can't envision your new kitchen apart from what's staying in your kitchen, because it's not going to work. Your end result is not going to look like what you're envisioning in your head. So you take your existing finishes that are staying, and you look for an inspirational photo. I always try to start with an inspirational photo. If you don't just naturally have that vision in your head, which most people don't, and you pick an inspirational photo that is going to complement and coordinate with the finishes that you already have. So maybe you want to lighten things up a bit from what they were, but if you've got a really dark floor, you're not going to be able to lighten everything up to white and go white on everything, because then your floor is going to be the focal point, and that's not what you want to be the focal point of your kitchen. So I hope this is making sense, and I hope this is helping you understand that it really is a process you need to think through. So find your inspirational photo that goes with and complements and coordinates your existing finishes that you need to keep, but also incorporates the new finishes that you want to bring into the space. So you got to kind of find a balance and a mix there. And so once you found that, that is going to be sort of the point where you can start thinking about making selections and making purchases. Now, I will say this so that I don't forget to say it later. I typically do not advise anyone to start making purchases on their selections until you've made all of your selections, or almost all of them. For instance, if you are getting new flooring and you are getting a new countertops and new tile and say new paint, I would not advise you to go out and find a flooring that you like and purchase it and say, okay, I've got that. Now let's choose the countertops, and then purchase it and say, okay, I've got that. Because when you get to the tile, maybe, and you start looking through your tile that's actually going to go well with your floor and your countertop that you've already picked out and purchased, and you can't find one thing that you like because something seems off about it, well, guess what? You're going to have to be stuck with picking something you don't like because you've already purchased your floor and your countertops. So what I say to do is make all of your major selections first before you make any purchases, because you can think you've got the perfect floor, but then you can't really find countertops that you think is really going to coordinate with that floor, or the countertops that you find that go well with the floor, you don't love them. So now maybe you need to go back and change your flooring choice. Okay, so you back yourself in a corner and you don't leave yourself any room to move and to change your mind if you make purchases before you've got your design finished. Okay, so that's my sort of my number one rule that I try to tell clients and encourage them not to make any purchases. However, once you do find all the selections that you love and you have a design, I also don't say sit on it for 6 months or a month or even a couple of weeks, because you need to go ahead and make those purchases. Make all of those purchases at once, because what happens sometimes is people will get a design that they absolutely love and they will hold off and wait on purchasing things, and then they'll go back to purchase that fabulous countertop, and guess what? They don't have it anymore. And now you're back to square one and you have to start over. So that is not a fun place to be at all. So don't get in that situation. Once you've made all your selections, go ahead and make those purchases pretty quickly. And if you are not ready to make those purchases, like you just don't have it in your budget yet, or you don't have all the money saved, then don't start shopping for selections if you're not ready to make the purchases, because products are changing quickly, inventory is changing quickly, and you need to wait till you're ready. But when you're ready, you need to get it moving and you need to get things purchased. Okay, so those are my two very good rules of thumb that I have for that. So back to your list that you have made and the order that you need to make your selections in. The rule is that the product that is the hardest surface product is the one you need to select first. And the reason for that is those harder surfaced products are going to be more limited on your choices. For instance, paint. Paint is very fluid. and look at how many paint choices you have. Thousands and thousands and thousands of paint color choices that you have to make. So paint can really be, in a kitchen redo, really be one of the last things you pick. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have in mind what color scheme you want on your wall. You know, do you want to go with, are you going to go with a bold colored? Is that what you want to go with? Do you want to go with like a lighter creamy white? Do you want to go with a beige? Do you want to go with a gray beige? Have that in your mind, obviously, from your inspirational photo, but I'm saying you don't need to go out and pick your paint color and do your paint samples on the wall and go through all of that first. You don't need to do that, because you're gonna be able to find a paint color that's going to match your room, no doubt. However, when it comes to countertops, for instance, if you are doing a granite or if you are doing a quartz, those are very hard surfaces, and you are not going to get thousands and thousands of choices when you go. Now, you're going to get, you know, a good number of choices, but not near as many choices as you would get like flooring, okay? Because you're going to get quite a bit of choices on your flooring. So hardest surface, always make those decisions first, because you're going to have the least number of options to choose from. And it's better to choose those items that you have the least number of options first, and then, you know, the last product is going to be what you have so many choices of, because whatever you pick out, you're going to be able to choose the paint color to go with it. Okay, because there's not going to be a problem with that. So once you make your countertop selections, then you want to start looking at your tile selections and what tiles that you're going to be able to choose from. There's lots and lots of tiles. There's lots and lots of textures. There's lots of sizes. There's just so many choices of tiles to choose from. Okay, so then your second choice could be your tile work. And then, of course, your grout choice is going to go along with that. And then your next choice could be your flooring. And some of these harder surfaces you can sort of make together, I guess. But you need to make sure that you've mapped out your order that you need to make your selections, because it does get overwhelming because you think, well, it's just one choice. One choice can be kind of difficult, either because there's not a lot of options or because there's too many options. So either way, these decisions are difficult, and they should be, because you are likely going to be spending a lot of money. So you need to make sure you're getting what you're comfortable with and what you love. So the thing about going out and shopping in order of things is to make sure that before you go, you are taking with you your existing finishes, because everything looks different in the showroom, and some of the choices you'll be making outside in the sunlight. And so if you're keeping your same flooring, then take a floor tile sample that you have with you, and if not, take a picture. If you are going to be using your existing backsplash, let's say, and you're getting a new countertop, if you have extra backsplash laying around, take that with you. If not, you're going to have to take a picture. If you've got cabinetry that is staying the same color, then take one of your drawers with you, or something small, a small door with you to do your shopping, because you are going to be wasting your time if you leave your home and all these existing finishes that you're trying to coordinate. If you leave all that at home with you and you go out to these stores where the lighting is atrocious, and you are going to end up bringing a bunch of samples home that don't work at all. So you just wasted all of your time. So it's really good to take as much stuff with you as you can that is going to help you at least get in the ballpark of what you are working on. Because, I mean, unless you just have a lot of time to waste, which most people don't, this is not something that you want to spend more time on than you need to spend. So take all the stuff with you that you can, and what you can't, take pictures of. The other thing is, never make a decision on a product in the showroom. And there is an exception for that. And I know I don't like to make this exception ever. But sometimes when you are shopping for your countertops, if you're doing granite or quartz, they just don't have a sample for you. And you might have to make a decision in the showroom without taking it home and putting it in your kitchen. I never ever advise to do that. I've never done that myself. Now, sometimes you might do it and it might turn out great, and that's awesome. But if you love, love, love the piece you see and they don't have a sample of it, try to find a sample of something else they have that at least matches the color of it. Maybe the pattern is different. I don't know. Find the most similar thing that you can find to that piece that they have a sample of and take that home with you and make sure that that works. Because if you take that home and you're like, wow, that is way too white, or it's way too dark, or it's way too creamy, then that's going to give you a good indication that the piece that you love, love, love so much is probably not going to work either. Because you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a piece of countertop and they get it cut and they get it installed in your home and you hate it, because that would be a disaster in my book. So make sure that you're taking your samples from home with you, and make sure that you're taking the samples you're gathering from the stores back to your house with you to check it out in your lighting, because I guarantee that the lighting in your kitchen is way different than the showroom lighting, and it's way different than anybody else's kitchen, because lighting is just different depending on your home and your windows and your colors and all of that. The other thing that I will say, when you get new finishes installed in your home, anywhere in your home, whether it's flooring or countertops or tile or anything, you always want to keep a sample of that somewhere in your house, because eventually you're going to want to switch something out and you're going to need those samples to take with you to make your selections. So anticipate you having to do this again sometime in the future and save those samples, because a lot of people that I work with, they don't have like an extra tile or a sample of their backsplash, because they just don't keep it, because they don't see a need for it once it gets installed. But it definitely is value in keeping that in your little stash in the corner somewhere in your garage for safekeeping. So let's see, what else do I need to let you know about? One other thing that I'm going to let you know about: making selections and refreshing your kitchen is going to be harder than you think it is. It just seems like it should be easy, right? You've got a picture in your mind, you know what your kitchen wants, you want your kitchen to look like, you go out, you pick it, they install it, it's done. But it's not that simple. And if it is that simple for you, then I'm afraid that you may be making hasty decisions and you're going to end up with something that doesn't look good in your kitchen and it doesn't coordinate with the other things in your home. So I don't want you to make those decisions that you regret, because it's a lot of money, right? I mean, any amount of money you spend on your home is money that needs to be well spent, not wasted. So that's what I would say, is be prepared for it to be hard, for it to be a little bit stressful. If you follow the tips that I have given you right now, which is the pro tips that I use every time I work with a client, it is going to help you. But that doesn't mean that the process will be easy, because it probably won't, because there's big decisions that you have to make and a lot of money that you're spending. So if you do not want to go this journey alone and make these decisions on your own, I am here to help you. If you would like my help, I can help clients that are local. I can help clients that are not local. So you can reach out to me and see if it's something that you might want to consider before starting your project. But just know, if you follow the steps that I've given you and you take your time and you're comfortable with your choices, then you are going to end up with hopefully a kitchen that you love, and definitely something that's going to be way better than what you have now, right? Because obviously if you had something fabulous now, you wouldn't be switching it up. So I hope that this coaching session has been helpful for you in giving you these kitchen update pro tips, and I will see you next time. Happy home styling.